So here I am, a middle-aged man who suddenly decided that his apartment looked like a warehouse of outdated interior ideas. No, it wasn't all bad, but you know how things start piling up around you when you buy stuff just because it was on sale, and not because it fits the overall style? That's the kind of situation I found myself in. But one evening, after an especially stressful day, I sat on my old couch, looked around, and realized it's time for a change. And then it hit me. Why not try Scandinavian style? All those light tones, minimalism, and functionality seemed like something that could breathe life into both my living space and my spirit. First things first, I headed to the internet to study the subject. Of course, I started with Pinterest and Instagram, where I was immediately bombarded with photos of white walls, wooden floors, and geometric lamps. It seemed simple enough, but I quickly realized there were nuances. For example, color palettes. White isn't just white. It can be snowy white, cream, ivory, or even pastel beige. I began to get confused by these shades as if I was preparing for a design exam. Next came furniture. This is where I faced a real challenge. Scandinavian style demands functionality and simplicity. But how do you find furniture that is comfortable, beautiful, and doesn't cost as much as a plane? Remember those moments when you stand before a choice between it looks good but feels like a rock, and it's comfy but looks like a relic from the Soviet past? Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. However, as they say, he who seeks finds. After long searches, I stumbled upon a local workshop that made furniture by hand. And here, the real magic began. It turned out that with the right approach, you could create something truly unique. We started with the sofa. The craftsman suggested using natural wood for the frame and soft yet durable materials for the upholstery. The result was something I wanted to spend evenings on, reading a book or simply reflecting on life. After the sofa came the turn of wardrobes and tables. Here, I decided to add a bit of humor. For instance, on one of the shelves, I placed a small model of a ship, a symbol of the journey I had embarked on while transforming my apartment. And on the table appeared a lamp in the shape of a giant onion, simply because it looked funny and lit up the workspace perfectly. When it came to decor, I returned to what I considered expert knowledge, or at least what I thought was expert knowledge. Minimalism is important, but it doesn't mean giving up everything. I chose several abstract pattern paintings that added some individuality to the room. I also added greenery. A couple of large plants in the corner made the space more alive and fresh. At some point, I realized that the process of remodeling my apartment became more than just a renovation. It became a sort of meditation. Each new element, each step forward, brought satisfaction and joy. And when the final touch was applied, I sat on my new couch and surveyed the results. Do you know what I felt? Pride. Not only for having managed to implement my ideas, but also because now I had a home that fully matched my inner world. Now, when friends come over, they often ask how I managed to create such an atmosphere, and I proudly reply, it's not just an interior, it's a philosophy. Simplicity, functionality, and a bit of humor. That's the secret. And of course, I always add, if you want, I can tell you more in detail. But most often, they just laugh and agree to have another coffee. Because, as we all know, the best way to show off your new surroundings is to invite friends and share the moment with them. But let's go back a bit and look at how I got to this point. Every transformation starts with small steps. The first such step was my acquaintance with books and articles about Scandinavian style. I discovered that this style has deep roots in the culture and climate of Scandinavia. Here, every detail, every element of the interior should serve its purpose, to make life more comfortable and simpler. One of the key principles of Scandinavian style is the use of natural materials. Wood, stone, cotton, and wool all play an important role in creating a harmonious space. I started by replacing old carpets with new ones made from natural cotton. They not only added warmth and coziness, but also became a great addition to the overall style. Next, I paid attention to lighting. In Scandinavian countries, winters are long and dark, so good lighting is highly valued here. I decided to install several light sources in different parts of the room. On the ceiling, I hung a modern chandelier with geometric shapes, and on the floor, I placed a couple of floor lamps with soft light. This created an atmosphere that was simultaneously cozy and functional. But don't forget about the details. Every little thing in Scandinavian style matters. I began sorting my belongings and getting rid of those that no longer brought joy. It wasn't easy, as some of them held memories. But eventually, I understood that free space is also part of the style. I kept only the most necessary and beloved items, which made my apartment much lighter and brighter. As someone used to research, I couldn't stop at a superficial understanding of Scandinavian style. I began studying its history and evolution. It turned out that this style originated in the 20th century, when designers in Scandinavia began experimenting with new materials and technologies. They sought to create something that was practical and beautiful at the same time. This was a time when functionality became the main priority. I also learned that environmental responsibility plays a significant role in Scandinavian style. Many manufacturers use renewable materials and technologies that help preserve the environment. This gave me another reason to choose this style. I started looking for furniture and accessories made with ecological standards in mind. This not only helped me create a beautiful interior, but also gave me a sense of satisfaction from doing something beneficial for the planet. Besides, I decided to add a few personal finds to my interior. For example, I found an old map of Scandinavia and hung it on the wall. It not only added an interesting element to the design, but also served as a constant reminder of what I wanted to embody in my home, the spirit of this region. I also bought several books about Scandinavian culture and art, which became excellent additions to my collection. But let's not forget about humor. Funny moments happened during the renovation, too. For instance, once I decided to paint one of the walls in a perfectly white color by myself. However, it turned out that my eye didn't distinguish shades well, and the wall ended up almost blue. I had to repaint, which took a lot of time and effort. But now, this wall has become a symbol for me that sometimes you just need to accept your mistakes and move on. Another amusing incident occurred when I bought new curtains. I spent a long time choosing between several options, but in the end, I decided to buy those that resembled clouds. When I hung them, I realized they were too sheer and barely covered the window. Instead of being upset, I decided to look at it differently. Now I have a cloudy room where light filters through the curtains, creating a soft glow effect. This became one of my favorite details in the new interior. Thus, my apartment transformed into a real refuge where I could rest and enjoy life. The Scandinavian style helped me create a space that combines beauty, functionality, and coziness. I learned to appreciate every detail and understand that sometimes small changes can lead to big results. And of course, I continue to learn and experiment. Every day brings something new, and I eagerly anticipate adding more elements to my interior. Perhaps the next project will be creating a small home library or setting up a terrace on the balcony. But whatever happens, I'm sure the Scandinavian style will stay with me for many years. In the end, the most important thing in any interior isn't so much the appearance as the feelings it evokes. If your home becomes a place where you feel happy and calm, then you're on the right path. So, if you also want to change your life through design, don't be afraid to start. Let your journey be as exciting and enlightening as mine.